Elizabeth Bishop's childhood. Bishop, an only child, experienced upheaval at a tender age. Her father died before she was 8 months old. Then Bishop's mother became mentally ill. Her mother suffered through serious bouts of mental instability and was permanently committed to an institution in the year 1916, when Elizabeth was only 5 years old. The poet never saw her mother again. Drastic changes effectively orphaned during a very early childhood. As a child, you never come to think something like this can occur. Poor child. After never having the opportunity to meet her dad because she was too young to even remember him, she was 8 months old. Then, being separated from her mother forever, Bishop lived with her maternal grandparents for a few years in a farm in Great Village, Nova Scotia, Canada, till it happened once again. She was taken from her maternal grandparents by her paternal family that gained custody, came to pick Elizabeth Bishop up to send her to Worcester, Massachusetts, where she would have financial and educational resources available for a better, stable life. Elizabeth Bishop moved in with her father's wealthy family in Worcester, Massachusetts. However, Bishop was unhappy in Worcester, and her separation from her grandparents made her lonely while she was living in Worcester. She developed chronic asthma, from which she suffered for the rest of her life. Bishop attended Walnut Hill High School in Natick, Massachusetts, where she studied music. At the school, her first poems were published by her friend Franny Blah in a student magazine. Bishop's graduation and Bishop's lost. Bishop graduated from Vassar College in the year 1934, and the same year her mom passed away. Then Elizabeth Bishop, in the year 1951, she attended Bryn Mawr College. In the year 1945, Elizabeth Bishop was 34 years old, and she received the Houghton Mifflin Poetry Prize Fellowship. Then, later on, in the year 1947, Elizabeth was 36 years old, and she received the Guggenheim Fellowship recognition. In the year 1949, Elizabeth was 38 years old, appointed consultant in poetry at the Library of Congress. In the next event, in the year 1950, Elizabeth was 39 years old, and she received the American Academy of Arts and Letters Award. In the year 1951, Elizabeth was 40 years old, and she received the Lucien Martin Donnelly Fellowship Award by Bryn Mawr College, the college she attended. Briefly, I mentioned. Then, in the year 1953, Elizabeth Bishop was 42 years old, and she received the Shelley Memorial Award in that year. After that, in the year 1954, Elizabeth was 43 years old, and she was elected to lifetime membership in National Institute of Arts and Letters. And the last award through that, in that page, in that year, in those years, 1956, that was the year, Elizabeth was 45 years old at that time, and she received Pulitzer Prize for Poetry. In the year 1960, Elizabeth Bishop was 49 years old, and she received the Shape Brooke Foundation Award. In the year 1964, Elizabeth Bishop was 53 years old, and she received Academy of American Poets Fellowship recognition. In the year 1968, Elizabeth was 57 years old, and she received Fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. Same year, same age, Elizabeth received Ingrid Merlin Foundation grant. In the year 1969, Elizabeth Bishop was 58 years old, and she received the Order of the Rio Branco awarded by the Brazilian government. Wow, that's a big recognition right there. In the year 1970, Elizabeth Bishop received National Book Award of Poetry, and she was 59 years old. In the year 1974, Elizabeth was 63 years old, and she received Harriet Monroe Poetry Award. In the year 1976, Elizabeth was 67 years old, and she received Books Abroad Neustadt International Prize. In that same year, in addition to that, Elizabeth became the first woman to receive the Neustadt International Prize for Literature and remains the only American till today to be awarded with that prize. In the year 1976, Elizabeth was 65 years old still, and she was elected to the American Academy of Arts and Letters once again. In the year 1977, Elizabeth was 66 years old, and she was awarded with the National Book Critics Circle. And in the year 1978, Elizabeth was 67 years old. Guggenheim Fellowship she received. And the year after that, a tragic happen.